I'd like to hear your take on making a highlight video to send out to colleges or US teams, even if a player's a grinder or he's a grinder. So my take on that is, yeah, 100%. Like we did, I've always heard about this when I talk to colleges, and they said, go ahead and send some video because we want to hear from you, because there's people that slip through the cracks, right? And excuse me. And when we talked to College Hockey Inc., we had a podcast with them. I became, got a pretty good relationship with those guys, and they said, yeah, like send videos to coaches, and because they want to see you, coaches and recruiters and stuff like that.
Yeah, sorry, that's actually a really good episode that I want to, because that's one of our first ones, so I want to throw that up again because people don't, a lot more people listen now than when we had that one out. So I think it's like episode 4 and 5. 4 is college hockey, 5 is OHL recruiter, and it kind of goes through the ins and outs of what they're looking for. So if you haven't listened to that one, that's a really good one to listen to. Anyhow, sorry.
Yeah. So here's the thing though. Yes, go ahead and send videos. Now, doing the videos yourself, like that's probably going to be as much work as playing hockey. But if that's, like, it goes again to, like, if you want to be a hockey player, if you want things to happen for yourself, sometimes you gotta do it, right? So great. Make sure you're playing good hockey though. But here's the key: is the words used in this sentence was, should I send a highlight video? No. Why would I say no when I just said yes? Because the word highlight video sucks, in my opinion. So one of the things that I told kids, like I had a program where if they brought in, I wasn't going to go video games, but if they brought in some shifts of their games or a game and they cut it up for me, or something along those lines, where they brought it in and I would go over kids' videos, because it's actually a very effective tool for teaching. So out of all the kids that I trained, 2 people, 3 people did it, maybe 4, brought in video, and I went over, yeah, you could do this better, and it was very helpful for them. Yep. But the best is I had one that, not a bad player, actually, I don't want to say where he's playing. He's playing at a pretty high level. Sent me all his goals. That's a highlight video. That's not hockey.
Nothing to look at. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you want me to help you with this. And then, I told Dad, I said, no, cool goal. Yeah, awesome. You're in Bantam and you got a goal. Great. Show me video. So then he just keeps sending me highlights of the goals. It's like, well, that no one's gonna understand a hockey player if I watch you score a goal. Yeah. There's no context behind it. How did the goal start? How did it finish? What'd you do in between? Yeah. So my recommendation on that is send either a game or 2 or 3, or just your shifts.
Yeah, full shifts.
A bunch of them, because they want to see what you look like in the D zone. They want to see what you look like in the O zone, neutral zone. Do you finish your hits? Are you lazy? Your body language and all those kind of things. And the great thing about that, so obviously, yeah, send some stuff if you want. You're going to throw some mud on the wall. Not every team is going to be impressed, and maybe only one team, maybe none. But it's worth doing.
Might not even answer.
That's right. That's right. But it's worth doing if this is something that you want to do. And there's a lot of schools out there, and maybe some schools that never get to your end of the town, or end of the world. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's very important if that's something that you want to do. A lot of people do it, but the important thing is you're not sending highlight reels.
Yeah, so I got a couple thoughts on that.
Good.
If you're gonna put a bunch of goals together, like everyone has 7 or 8 goals they scored during the year.
Yeah.
And the goals always look nice. Like there's not a bad goal.
Yeah.
Right. So if you jam one in front of the net, it's like, oh, look, he's in front of the net. Good. Yeah. If you have a nice dangle and score, it's like, oh, that looked nice. Whatever. It's good passing play and you score. It's like everyone has a handful of those that they can cut and put in a video. It's like what you're saying is important, though. You're trying to show how do you play, and showing just goals doesn't show how you play. So if you're going to cut like full-length shifts, that would be the style that you want to go through to actually 100%. So they can learn a little bit about you instead of just, here's my goals. It's like everyone's just going to send them their goals, So it's got to be actual footage of you playing. And then if you're going to do that, then you also have to be ready for the rejection, like you just mentioned at the end.
Yeah.
So most of the time, a school is not going to answer you, most of the time, especially if you're just sending it like cold email from you, unless you actually do some good research of maybe there's a avenue they have where you can submit video that gets looked at or whatever. And schools have that where you're supposed to email a specific person or whatever. So you have to do some research on where you should send what you're sending. And then the other part of it is you need to keep in mind that the person that you're sending from, like the people that are watching your stuff aren't dumb. Okay.
Watching
so
you
your
mean
video,
the scouts and stuff?
Yeah. So if you send your video to someone, they're not dumb. Like, this is what their job is. So you're not tricking them.
No.
So you got to keep that in mind. So, and most of the time, if you don't have, like you said, someone that's going to send things for you or do work for you, then there's a fine line. I'm going to throw back to you on this one, because there's a fine line between when is it crazy dad with the video camera in the stands? Is dad the one that's putting together your package to send, and what is he putting in it?
Yeah.
And so it's a fine line between you're actually trying to honestly promote yourself versus, you're being nuts, man. Like,
okay, so yeah.
So I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So number one, this goes to that's the caveat, is that you are actually good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we had someone that played with, I'm not going to say the name. He's got a whole video website, and dad's got it, even like practice 3-on-3 and highlights, and puts the comments and stuff. And it's like, he's the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of our, like, barely made the team. And he's got this whole website on how great he is. And he's going to send that to colleges, and it's going to be cheap. They might show it to a few people and they get a good laugh. The caveat is that you're a good player. So how do you know if you're a good player? Well, if you're supposed to be a goal scorer, then you're scoring a ton of goals. If you're getting a lot of points. If you're a power forward, so now a power forward and you're actually dominating games, or you're actually feeling like you're like one of the top players all the time, then you have a reason to send your stuff out. But so one of the things you might want to do with that is that if, like, say you're a power forward or a stay-at-home D, the highlights aren't necessarily, they're not highlights. So in that, and of course it's got to come from the kid. No one wants to hear from mom and dad, especially at this level. So the kid needs to do it because it's your dream, it's your whatever. It takes responsibility. Anyway, so if you're a stay-at-home D, there's not a lot of highlight packages. So like in your intro, like you probably put a letter together or whatever saying that this is who I feel that I am. So I think I can help your team. So I'm a 6'3", 18-year-old defenseman. I've had 11 points this year, but I feel like I'm a really good stay-at-home D. I take my responsibility as a defenseman very, very seriously. I make other people's lives miserable, and I think I can help your team if that's a need that you would have. Well, every team needs that. If you're a power forward, explain why you're a power forward and make sure the videos match your words.
Right.
Talk's cheap, right? Mm-hmm. And if you do that, that might open some eyes. But if you just send a video and it's like a spam email, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so the key on that, you get a very different response if you send it yourself versus dad sends it or agent sends it or whoever, because and people, some schools are different. I remember when I was talking to schools, some of them really liked talking to an advisor agent person, and some wouldn't answer the phone if it was an agent person. So it's not like one is bad or good or whatever, and you don't need one or the other. It doesn't necessarily matter. But in any circumstance, if it's coming from you, that you'll get an extra, that's a plus. Whereas if you're getting it from dad, now we're looking at it with questions immediately. So it's like it's not. I don't want to say it's a negative if dad sends things, but
no, it is. Let's be honest.
But it's like let's say you're 15 years old, right? And if you're in the States and you want to go to school or whatever, you would maybe start sending things out that early, like your first year junior. Maybe you don't know.
It's not necessary.
Maybe whatever. Maybe you don't know.
I feel like we're fighting.
But maybe you don't know how to navigate.
Yeah.
How to figure out how to send, and
dad can help you.
And dad can help and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But if it's like when you get texts, or when scouts and agents that you talk to will get texts from dads, and they'll literally send you the text that the dad sent, and they'll be like, this guy?
Yeah.
So it's like immediately it's a red flag as opposed to being a positive. Whereas 100%. If it's signed 16-year-old Johnny at the bottom, it's like, whoa, this kid sent me this. Okay, let's actually take a look at this because the kid did it.
Well, it's no different than two scenarios when people come in here and ask for jobs. When dad comes in with a mustache and says, "Hey, Andy, Buckshot's looking to work. Do you have any room for him?" The answer is no.
Yeah, no.
The answer is absolutely no.
Yeah, I agree.
If the kid came in, now you can sit down, we'll talk.
Right.
And what was the other one I was going to say? Something along those lines.
Well, it was like, if you remember, you can cut me off. It was like the scout we had the other day.
Yeah.
He was saying one of the things they're looking for is take care of your own shit.
Yeah.
And that's the start of that. you can write a letter, and if you get someone to edit it, if you're not the best at English class, like get someone to edit your letter so it sounds coherent and there's not spelling mistakes and grammar errors, that's fine. So it's not that people can't help you. You don't have to do every single thing yourself. Yeah. But like you said, and I like the kind of more of a cover letter idea where you explain who you are and you explain who you play like. Yeah. And that's a huge thing. If you can identify someone you play like that isn't Connor McDavid, then that actually shows you did some analysis and you put some thought into it. And then you attach videos of just your shifts together, of your actual shifts, so they can see how you play the game. It's not just the time you went bar down. Yeah. It's like, okay, now we actually have something to work with, and this kid sent it to me. Yeah. So that's a strategy.
There's could be a thing like I never lose a face-off. Watch the videos.
Yeah, and the there's I guess the whole point of all this is there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. Yeah. You know, and if you want to do it a way where it's beneficial and people actually take you seriously, then you kind of do it the way we're talking about. If you want it to be a red flag where people go into looking at your stuff already skeptical, then you're going to have mom and dad do it and you only show your goals and your dad explains how good you are, or your agent or whoever you think is supposed to promote you or whatever, you know?
Yeah, the other side that I was going to say is that also when a dad comes in at an appropriate age, so let's say, I would even say 14, 15, that's when a kid needs to start advocating for himself. Mm-hmm. And when a dad comes in and says, hey, do you have any ice? My kid really wants to get some ice. Oh, I sent you a text the other day about ice, like whatever, any programs you got going on. Oh yeah, I got it. Buckshot can send me one. Yeah. When he asks me, I'll respond. Yep. It just makes me want to actually help the kid.
For sure.
When dads do it, I'm like,
yeah. Well, and it's just a life thing. That's the reason you gave me a job. Yeah. Was because I was always coming to you, me asking you, and not that my dad never asked you for guidance, but when I was 15 and 6, like I would email you, I would come and ask you questions myself. I would look for advice. Hey, I remember in junior asking you for ice. Do you have early ice in the morning? And I came and skated with the 10-year-old you had, or whatever, just because I needed ice at the time. And I did that. And then now you actually take me serious.
Absolutely.
And then I got an opportunity to work here, which is awesome. Yeah. You know, so it's not just a hockey thing; it's just a life thing. No. So.
That's all I had about that. Is like, send the videos 100%, promote yourself, do it the right way, add a little bit of zip and need a word, man.
Personality?
Yeah, personality or confidence, or like that you care. You're not just throwing mud on the wall and hopefully you're gonna get back to me and give me a scholarship. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to tell you about myself. I've got a pretty accurate description of myself. This is where I want to go. Like, not that you say Wisconsin. Mm. That's where I want to go, but where I want to end up after that is this, and that's why I'm willing to work hard and go through the process. Yeah, and you know, it doesn't have to be your letter doesn't have to look like you just like the receipt that you get at IKEA. Yeah, but it's got to be concise and with some points that I'm confident and follow up.